Have you heard of perception projection? It's something that I had introduced to me really recently, and ever since I've had it introduced, and I'm talking like in the last few months, and it's something that as soon as I kind of figured it out, I was like, it just changed so much to do with my relationships, like my social relationships, my emotional well-being, obviously to do with my family, like direct family and friends. And I started to use perception projection as a technique yesterday because I actually started a new job which was really cold sales heavy. So I've got to walk into businesses cold basically and introduce myself for the full pitch and an intro and trying to sell a really low cost product. It's something I've done in the past, but I've done it more with a high cost service product, which I don't think I had the skills back then to really make it successful, and the service based thing was way harder to sell, especially because it was really high cost and it was in a healthcare setting, and that's all sort of tied in with government funding and all that sort of stuff, so it was a little bit hard. Where I'm finding, yesterday was my first day, and a larger goal is, obviously I've come on board with this company. They're like a global marketing company, and their aim is to expand this product in Australia, and they want me to move into a consulting role where I'm coaching and managing and training this new sales team. But obviously they're like, well, you got to cut your teeth selling the product first, because we need to know the ins and outs of the product before you start recruiting and managing and coaching for them to sell the product as a sales executive. So first day, obviously I was just pulling all my tricks out of the bag, and one of the things that I found really helped me, and like I said, this can happen in an occupational setting with your occupational well-being with your work, but massively helped me with my social relationships and my family relationships. And it was introduced to me because I had this issue where I had a perception of what people thought of me. And it's something that everybody has. It's being self-conscious basically about who you are and your personality and all that sort of stuff, and everybody has a little bit of self-consciousness. Some people don't, they're super confident, but they've obviously picked that up through childhood or learned ways to kind of deal with that, like where I'm at this point now of dealing with those things. And the perception projection, it's like your vibration. So if you have a thought where you think you're going into a social setting, or you're going into an occupational setting with a business or whatever, and you think immediately you have this vibration of negativity where you're thinking, oh, these people are just going to tell me to piss off, or every time I see this person I think they look at me up and down and they don't like me and they say snarky comments, and I kind of have to navigate and deal with those comments, and then I go away and I think about them, I stew on them, and then you've constantly then got that relationship with that person. Or whether it's a social setting where you go into a social setting and you think everybody thinks, oh, this, everybody's looking at me like this is, this is the type of person I am, and everybody thinks and you're categorizing yourself, and you're telling yourself this story of you think what a perception of people have from you. But perception projection is what you think people are thinking about you is actually what you're thinking about them, and it's about the vibration that you're letting out of them. So an example, like yesterday, if I had started to walk into businesses on my first day thinking, oh, there's people just going to tell me to piss off, they don't really know, and they're not going to want me to come in and interrupt them and cold sell them something. I know how annoying that is, I know how salesy people are, but learning this technique, I went in there and I was like, I straighten my spine, I stand tall, I breathe in a lot of energy, I change myself to a good vibration, and I think these people really want the product that I have, because it's going to solve a really good solution for them. And it is a product that I am starting to use myself as well. Like Courtney and I are going to start using it in our business as well. So, and I think that was a really important thing to me in sales. And you'll hear, if you ever follow people like Grant Cardone, who's this sort of business tycoon in America, has a lot of cool books around selling. He has this concept around, if you're going to sell a product, like if someone asks you, well, do you use it? And your answer is no. And I know that's hard with, like, if you're selling a Mercedes-Benz, you don't drive a Mercedes-Benz, it's hard to answer that question. But you've also got to really know your ins and outs of that product, and what to drive that Mercedes-Benz every day, drive the test model, absolutely love the car, because then you can really sell it to somebody. And it's just sort of the same with this product. So I walked in with an air of confidence, knowing that I know the product, I know it's really good, and I know that if I go in thinking, this person's going to be really happy to see me because I've got something that could potentially change their business. Like all small business owners that have bricks and mortar, funny thing is, a lot of ones I visited yesterday were just so busy. They're like, I don't need any more marketing products. I'm turning work down. I want to retire. I love the concept, but literally I do not want more work. And I think where my business prowess comes in there, like I had a couple of conversations yesterday where I flipped that. And it was a couple of older gentlemen, for example, that were like, I don't need any more work. I want to retire soon. I'm absolutely flat out. I'm booked out months in advance. And immediately my business brain switches on and I go, okay, well, and it's a business listing, for example. That's the product. It's a business listing. When you search Google, your business listing shows up. And we have a product where we've got software that optimizes that listing to help it rank better. We take care of every little ins and outs and these features that Google have to play with. So we play with all these features and Google picks that up and they go, this business listing is really active, it looks great, so we start to rank it higher. And part of the selling angle is I walk in and I look at the business and I go, okay, well, they're not really doing much for this listing. They've got one crappy photo from the outside. So what's the first thing you do when you search something on Google? For example, you go carpet shop near me. So, and then that's what brings up the business listing, is that search. But if you're searching for a cafe or a coffee or whatever in your new area, you go cafe near me, I want to grab a coffee. The first thing you see is like, oh, this one looks really nice. So you buy it with your eyes. It's very visual. You look on it. So these ones that don't have these great listings, but they're like, oh, I'm too busy, whatever, I just flip it over and I go, well, if you're going to retire soon, you're considering selling the business. And they go, well, yeah, actually, I am probably going to sell the business. Like, that's what I want to do when I retire. Okay, well, this is your digital shop front. So anyone, if you're going to put your business up for sale and a younger business savvy person, the first thing they're going to do is going to go, carpet shop in Wynnum, for example. And when yours pops up and it looks fantastic, they're like, wow, look at all these reviews, look at these photos, look at the work they do. That's definitely a business I want to buy. So I got a few callback appointments yesterday, just sort of talking about those aspects, but I'm getting a bit off track here. The perception projection, for example, where it started with me, I had a certain relationship with a certain person in my life where I thought every time that person would get in touch with me, I would get like butterflies in my stomach. And whoever's watching this that might know me and think, oh, it's maybe me, that's your perception projection. It's not you. Don't worry, you'll never figure out who it is. But I get butterflies in my stomach and I go, oh, this person's going to talk to me about this thing. They're going to ask me about this thing. I don't really want to talk about it. And, I kind of want to push this person away because I think they are pushing me about something that they think about me, for example. And every time I see them, the way that they talk to me, the way that they interact with me, I think, oh, this is frustrating, the way that I think this person thinks of me. And the moment that I flipped that over and I thought, that's how I'm thinking about that person. And it makes perfect sense because I am thinking that. I'm thinking that he's thinking that about me. But what I'm actually doing is thinking that about that person, he or she, whoever it is. And as soon as I started to figure that out, all my relationships changed. It changed with Courtney, it changed with not so much Teddy because he's a little bit young to kind of pick up on that conversational vibration. Actually, he's a pretty old kid for 3, but my friends, my family, whoever it was I started to interact with, I was like, even like, for example, walking into a company where they're expecting me to be a sales executive and consult and manage and all these sort of things, and I've got to go through this sales training and do role playing with random people that I don't even know and learn this product, and they have an expectation of me. Like, years ago, before I figured out this perception that they're thinking this about me, I would have walked into that setting and been so nervous that I probably would have folded under that pressure. But the older I'm getting, the more confidence I'm getting, lifting my vibration in that sense. And I'm walking in, I'm going, these guys want me to be here. Like, these guys have reached out to me, and they actually did. They poached me for this business. And so there's no reason for me to think that they're going to think any differently of me other than this guy's going to help change our business. He's going to be really good. He's a positive light. We've had great conversations with him. This is the guy we need. And I'm taking that energy, that positive energy, because of now how I perceive that's how that they think of me, and I'm moving it into a positive direction with this new sales role. So like I said, social well-being and emotional well-being really think about it. Every interaction you have, like if there's someone you see every day at work and you think, oh, this guy's, he hates me because I think I might be lazy and whatever, and it's just like, that's what you're actually thinking about them. Like, that's not what they're thinking about you. So, and do you have a reason to be thinking about them like that? You probably don't, because it's just this bounce, this perception, this projection. You're projecting it out and it's bouncing back because it's like, that's what that person thinks of me. That's what that person thinks of me. But reality, if you take away that person out of that thing and what you're thinking, that's what you're thinking about them. You're projecting your perception of what they think about you. So try and take that into any social setting you can. Your work, you're meeting friends, you're dating, you're going into a relationship. That's a massive thing. Had a massive, awesome conversation about this on the weekend with somebody at a friend's birthday party we went to. And a lot of these people at this party, they're all like business coaches and mindset coaches, and they all do lots of work like that. And some of them are really young, like much younger than me, but they're so far ahead with their life intellectually and like in business and all that sort of stuff. And some of the conversations I had about these people trying to find relationships, and it's about when they're first meeting with people, like people just from your pictures have an automatic perception of what they think you're like and what they think you're thinking about, and you've really got to strip that away. And it's all about personality as well. People have certain personalities and they think, I want to be this type of person, I want to look like this type of person, follow in this direction in life. And a really hard thing when meeting new people is figuring out that these people are trying to own a certain way that they want to look and feel, and you're potentially judging them that way. But they might be in a position in their life where they're figuring out something new. They're like, maybe I'm going down this path. Maybe I just want to wear like hemp pants and grow dreadlocks and live in a van, and that's the life that I want to take. But previously, I've just worked in an office and worn suits and done all this sort of stuff. And there's those transition periods, and we can't judge people for that because it's always ever changing. So you really got to take that into account as well when you're meeting with people and you see who they are, you see what they look like. You have to drop judgment and you drop the perception of what they're thinking, because it might be completely different. Have a fantastic day. I am going to have a fantastic day. I'm going to get my sales today. I've booked in my appointments. Should be good.